Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Namaste, Lake Chapala. As always, such a beautiful, beautiful instant of joining that we share every day. And this, the last day of 2020, so many of us are happy to see it go, hoping that 2021 is going to bring light and brightness and depth. But we can claim that right now. It has nothing to do with time or dates or anything like that. It has to do with right now. And when we join in the right now, then we realize it has always joined with us. Not even for an instant have we been separated from now. But our eyes are finally open and we finally see what has always been seen by the divine. And this is the whole lesson, to open our eyes to see what has always been seen. And if we can just live there and breathe there and join there, everything else takes on its own natural hue and beauty and grace. So today we're going to continue with a new short lesson from the Impersonal Light. I just sent off the manuscript to Baraka yesterday, who is going to be looking it over, and we're going to do some final editing. And actually, I'll just tell you what we're going to do, so you're aware of this. You guys can be the first to know. It'll probably be released in about a month as a Kindle book first. For the first month or two, it'll only be available as an ebook. And we're going to make it available on Kindle for only $2, because I believe that this is maybe the most essential collection or book that I've written. I think that the energy and the depth of this is so needed today. So we're going to put it out there and make it very easy for people to get. So it'll only be $2 for the first month when we put it out next month. But we get to enjoy some of it here today. So I'm going to share lesson 22 from the Impersonal Light. So take a deep breath. And let's welcome this energy and this information. This, the last day of the year. Okay. I am expressing and extending continuously beneath the surface of what you think you see or believe yourself to be. Once again, the I am presence within you is expressing and extending itself continuously. Every moment it's expressing and extending itself beneath the surface of what you think you see or what you believe yourself to be. It's always there. It's always stretching out. It's always reaching out for you to recognize, for you to see who you are and where you are. But we have to recognize it, and that's all we're doing. I am the very current that draws all reality irresistibly toward the infinite ocean of grace you sometimes call heaven. I like that. The infinite ocean of grace that you sometimes call heaven. You can deny the current, but it will never deny you. And that is why love is guaranteed for all. I love that statement, that you can deny the current, but it can never deny you. You are never denied. The truth within you is always completely seen, recognized, held. And you may close your eyes and you may deny that that's true. You may choose instead to live in this dream where nothing seems to connect, where you never get what you really want. You can try that for a very long time, and you have, for some strange reason. But it never denies you. And the moment you stop denying it, you align with that vision of grace. You begin to see as God sees, and love as God loves, and know what God knows. And this is that holy instant of release that we keep talking about. Once again, you can deny the current, but it will never deny you. And that is why love is guaranteed for all. Imagine a mighty river, greater and stronger than any you've ever seen before, flowing beneath the surface of the earth. You cannot see it with your eyes, but you can feel the river's effect, though you do not realize that that's what you're feeling. It's like a magnet pulling you, drawing you toward itself. Although subtle, it's also the most persistent feeling you've ever known, calling you night and day to dig a hole so deep that you finally reach the river. And when you do, you'll feel such joy, and without any thought, you'll dive in, and the current will take you where it wills. It is my will that you dive now. Do not wait. Dive now. The river is not beneath the earth, nor is it in the sky. The river I speak of is within you, just as the kingdom of God is within you. So why are you waiting? Dive. I love this image of this mighty river. And if you did feel that somehow beneath the earth, and you knew that this was everything that you wanted, you knew that this was the source of all goodness, and if you could just surrender into that current, it would take you to where you've always wanted to be, into that infinite ocean of grace. If you knew that, wouldn't you dig that hole? Wouldn't you give everything to reach that infinite ocean? Of course you would, if you really knew it. But until now, you've only believed it to be true. And believing something, unfortunately, does not have the same impact or energy as knowing something. That's the difference between belief and knowledge. When you know something whole within you, in that moment, there's no waiting, there's no hesitating, you dive. And as this lesson says, that infinite ocean is not under the ground, it's not in the sky, it's within you. So what are you waiting for? All we're really doing here in this joining, in these meetings, is we're sharing our knowing. I know this to be true. I have felt and known that infinite ocean, and many of you have too. And when you know this to be true, there's nothing in this world that could cause you to hesitate. And for those who still are just in that level of belief, I believe it's true, but I may not know it's true. Your mighty companions are around you to say, dive, don't hold back, give everything to this. It's the only thing you really want. It's the only thing you really need. Why are you hesitating? You see, belief makes us hesitate. Because when we just believe something, there's a part of us that also says, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong about this? What if there is no infinite ocean of grace? Or what if I throw myself into that river, it dashes me against the rocks and kills me? Those are all the thoughts that spin through your mind when you just believe something. But when you know it to be true, then none of those thoughts are there. They disappear. They dissolve. They dissolve into that infinite ocean. So that river that this lesson is speaking of is right there within you right now. There's no reason for you to hesitate. There's no reason for you to hold back. Dive. Just dive in, especially today. We're celebrating something today, just as we did last week for Christmas. Today we're celebrating the end of something and the beginning of something new. The only thing that's really new is your willingness to dive. Your willingness to give everything. That's it. So once again, don't hesitate. This is the moment that you decided. You chose this before you were born. You decided to dive into that infinite ocean, to let that current take you. And here you are at the river's edge. So jump in. And with that, we turn it over. Yes, that's right, Bob. Let's swim together. Come on. The water's great. Vicky.
Good morning, Jimmy. Happy New Year, everybody. Congratulations on finishing the book. And I hope it becomes a simple classic of experience for many, many brothers. I'm sure I'm sure you've launched it well, and we've all been part of that. So thanks for that love and grace. So I today I'll see if I can make more sense. Yesterday I was seeing how what was in the way of that ocean of love were the things that I needed to look at. And that's what 2020 was for many of us. By shutting down things, we had time to see what was in our mind that was causing us any kind of upset or pain and take responsibility for it. And I just think in doing that brought great joy because we got free from the obstructions in our own mind. And what you're inviting us to today is to dive into the ocean of light that we see in one another's eyes. That's what's all around us. And regardless of how we've thought of any brother, and specifically a brother maybe we've had judgment or withholding from, but to let all that go and know it doesn't matter, but to see only the light in our brother, the love that we share, brings the experience of love. It's impossible that it doesn't. But as soon as we hook on to some little judgment about a brother that causes us reason to keep our distance or separate or anything, then we're out of that current of grace and we experience limits of all sorts. So the experience is simply to open to the light that we are and that we are with one another, and to join with that light with whoever and wherever who comes to thought, whatever brother comes to thought or comes into our vision, because that's a simple enough experience. And that's the experience of certainty. It's the experience of finding that we live in the same love. We're of the same stuff. We're made up of that grace. And that river of love, of light, is the kingdom. It is what we are. And for us to experience it is not far away. It's as close as you and I, the brother in front of us, anywhere. But we have to be willing to forget everything else, no matter what those thoughts were, no matter what the history may have been, to forget it all and only accept the grace of the light that's present. And hopefully, this is a year where we've been prepared in 2020 to see what the judgments were and to not pay attention to them, let them go, and to let this year be the year of focusing on the light in one another, and let that grace pull us forward each day into whatever our part in the greater plan might be. Whatever it looks like, we'll step into it because that current has a natural force of bringing us into doing and being what is effortless because it's by grace. So this is our year to live in effortless grace by our willingness to see one another as the light that we are and simply love each other. Love each other with a full brother's welcome. Was that clear today, Jimmy?
That was very clear. That was extremely clear. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
This does require mind training.
It does.
You said it takes diligence of watching our thoughts and then choosing only to dive,
Right.
choosing only that infinite ocean. And I find myself a lot lately doing the old swish move. Swish. I tell you, that works so well. If you haven't been trying that, whenever you feel that judgment or a separating thought, just say, nope, swish, just like you're swishing off of your screen. No, I choose only love, swish. And sometimes you have to do that 5 times a minute. That's okay. This is the mind training. And it does require mind training. It requires that you be willing to let go of all of those things that have never served you and give yourself to only that which is serving you right now. And you're right, 2020 has been brilliant for that. I was just thinking as you were talking that 2020 brings 2020 vision. And now that we can see 2020, we can now live this even more gracefully and beautifully than before. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Jimmy.
How about Teddy? You want to share anything?
Well, when you were talking, Jimmy, one thing kept on coming to my mind. You know, we're talking about a condition that's total and has no opposite.
Yes.
So the truth is, there can be no choice either, because what would there be to choose from or for in
Mm.
that state of awareness? So, it's one of those things that Jesus tries to talk about and come up with new terms. Like one of them is it's the choiceless choice,
Hmm.
um, because it's really not. When you've had the experience, you understand the nature of it as being eternal. You understand that there is nothing opposite to it. So the best we can come up with is an idea that this is not that, and it's literally nothing compared to the everythingness of the experience or of that condition, of that reality, let's say, which is total, whole, and perfect. So it's interesting that while we're, the tiny man into the mind of the Holy Son of God, we're always one. There crept a tiny mad idea at which he remembered not to laugh. He couldn't say forget because there's no forgetting in reality. There is only remembering. So we had to remember not. We didn't forget, which is why the words are so precise, and why, for complicated minds, we find them difficult because they don't speak the way we speak. They speak with lots of double negatives and attempting to reinforce a totality of a positivity wherein which there is no negativity or opposite. And how do you talk about that to a mind that thinks choice is possible and also necessary? So you offer them a choice and take away the ability to choose at the same time. It's just it's just interesting the way it has to be worded and looked at.
That is so great. A choiceless choice. Oh, boy, that just sent me. Thank you so much. And that's what we're talking about. When you hear something like that, that ignites something inside you that is unspeakable. We can't talk to that feeling. We can only feel that feeling. We can only experience the experience. You don't have to choose. And yet there does seem, in the mind that thought it had a choice, there does seem to be the need to make a choice. But when you give up that mind or make that choice, you realize there never was a choice at all because you've always been there. You never left. Hmm. I'm just going to sit with that feeling for a moment. Thank you, Teddy. All right, let's skip on over to Namaste.